Welcome back to another episode of Classic Truck Garage. Getting my inner fenders ready to paint today. Gonna try to get them wet sanded, maybe even get them painted this evening. You know, the humidity's kind of high, dust is down, so it may be a good day to try to spray them if I can figure out a way to hang them. I've had them stored in the back of the 50 model here. That truck's going to be coming up here pretty soon. It needs a good tune up and driving. It hasn't been drove in a couple of years, so it'll be coming up soon. So just to kind of ignore, I guess you've seen it, but I'm going to flip around here, get the inner fenders out, get them carried back over to the house, and hopefully get them painted today. I've had these things for a few years. They're laying in here piled up with all these other truck parts. So I'm going to get them out, take them over, get them washed up, cleaned up, and show you why I've got the gray primer on some of them with them being new. I really hated to use the new ones. I hope they fit good. We'll have to see. Well, here they are. They are filthy as I'll get out. And the reason they have the etching primer, gray etching primer on them, these are new from AMD. I had ordered a set from AMD and they were paper thin. Like, I'm gonna tell you, some things I've got from AMD, you can pull the stickers off and it says stamped and made in Taiwan. I don't know that all their stuff is. You know, I hear good things about their premium parts, and I'm not downing them. You know, just none of these generic parts seem to fit the way they should. But these were AMD panels. I had ordered another set, and they weighed a third of what these did. I mean, they were paper thin, like you could just about buckle them up. Well, I had a buddy, he built a 86 model with a 6.0 twin turbo. So he had these, and we're just going to cut them out for the turbos, you know, for his exhausts to come down. He is going to cut most of them out anyway. So I ended up swapping him the lightweight, the little thin ones, for these. And when I got these home, you know, the black coating that comes factory on these panels was kind of bubbling. So I went to sanding, and there was tons of surface rust underneath that stuff. So when you get these panels, check it. You know, if it doesn't look like it's on there very good, clean it up. I cleaned these up, stripped them back down to bare metal everywhere except for where it still looked pretty good. And I really wish I'd have put epoxy, but I shot some etching primer over top of that bare metal. So, you know, they're not going to get primed anything. I'm going to scuff them with some 1000 grit. While I'm washing them, I'm going to just wet sand them with 1000 grit. And we're going to shoot some black single stage Summit Racing, of course, paint right over top of them. If I can figure out a way I can hang them and paint both sides at the same time. So that's what we're fixing to turn in and get done. Well, got them hung up here, hanging off the garage door opener and the garage door track. Well, they're hanging. Are they going to fall? Yeah, probably. My luck, about the time I get them painted. But we're going to mix up some single stage. This is going to be our last nice weekends. One reason I'm going ahead and getting these painted, I actually had the bumper, was getting it ready to put on the front bumper. But since it's kind of nice, I'm going to go ahead and get these painted and probably try to get them bolted in here in a day or two. I think I've got everything I wanted to do with them out. So, yeah, I won't bore you with, you know, painting. So, get a little bit mixed up here. I'll just set it up on time lapse as I'm spraying them, and we're going to hope for the best. Hopefully it works out good. Well, I got some paint laid on them. Yeah, I got a little bit of orange peel, especially right in there for some reason in them. But you know, for where they're going to be perfectly fine. I mean, it's hot again today. Hot. That's one reason I decided it's supposed to cool off, start being in the 60s. So that's one reason I decided to go ahead and try to get them painted today. May try to put them in one day this week, get them put in. I got a little bit more orange peel under here. I actually was trying to texture it, turn the pressure way down. Since this is going to kind of be in the wheel, I don't know if that'll be a mistake. Got a feeling I'm going to end up probably having to put some truck bed liner after or something in here. I've got a feeling I'll get rock chipped. I've got a long gravel driveway out through there, and the tires I'm going to run, I'm pretty sure I run the RTs on my daily driver. My son's got the ATs, but it's the Kendas. I was going to run the 315 75 16 MT Kendas on the 83 model. I really like them. I mean, they wire good. The RTs have wore great. I've had those things on there for 3 years, and I travel for work a lot. And really, I don't need a tire that rough because I'm on the interstate a lot. My office is actually, it's about a 135-mile round trip back and forth to my office. But I've had those on there for 3 years, and they still got half tread or better on them. So I've really been impressed with them. So no more than the 83 will get drove. I think I'm going to run the MTs on it. I like the looks of them. I don't need nothing that rough on it neither, but you know, we just got back from the C10 Nationals down in Nashville, the wife and I. And you know, I know I'll have it done by then, but that's my goal, is to drive it down there maybe next year. Drive it down and I guess kind of entering the show, pretty much just drive in, park, you know, go look, and come back. I'd really like to have the 67 done by next October to go to it, but I know it'll never be ready by then. So I'll probably leave these hanging all night tonight. I hate to, because like I said, more than likely my luck, one of them will fall, but hopefully not. You know, they are probably going to get scratched. First time I have to climb up in there and work on the truck. You know, that used to be where I sat down at. But all in all, they've turned out pretty good. They've got some orange peel to them. That's kind of, you know, and a lot of that's my fault. I started out with, I didn't have enough pressure going to the gun. But for what they are and where they're going to be perfectly fine. So I'm going to let these hang for the night and get dried completely out. And maybe tomorrow, I may try to put them in tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Well, I left the inner fenders just hanging in the garage here. I didn't want to put them on the little stands. You know, the paint hadn't fully cured. It'll stick to it, and you'll pull a chunk of it off or a chunk of paint off. But honestly, they turned out really good. Probably too good for the truck. You know, like I said, I'm really going to hate first time I have to work on it, get up there standing on them and sitting on them. Because, yeah, pretty much I just use these as a seat whenever I work on one. So, they've dried, you know, or they've cured for the day. So I'm going to take them off, get them on the stands, get the truck back in here. I got a thing or two I want to do to it real quick before I put these on. Want to pressure wash the motor. I don't know if I've told you, you know, the motor, I didn't do anything. It's not been off the frame. It's the factory motor, you know. I got rid of pretty much just all the smog vacuum. But I'm going to get in here with some oven cleaner and do a little pressure washing while I can still get through the wheel well. Clean the block off. It had some oil leaks. I put new valve cover gaskets, put a new one-piece oil pan gasket, and a new rear main seal in it a couple months back. And also, and I'm going to do a little update on it, I'm going to drill and put me a cross pin through my steering shaft right there. I don't like the way, it'll probably never fall off. You can look at the video on the XJ steering shaft upgrade, but I'm going to drill tight and put me like a 1/4 20 bolt through that before I put this inner fender in. So just do a little clean up in here before I get them in while it's still kind of easy. I can, go through right here and get to everything. So, but we'll get started on that, and I'll come back when we get ready to put them in. Well, it's time. We're going to try to get the inner fender in. Not put none of these in a while this way. Years ago, and I'm a pretty calm person anymore, but tempers was lost last time, and they weren't even painted, but the truck wasn't lifted, and I even had the wheel off. The best I remember, it was 2-wheel drive. This one, I'm hoping we got plenty of room to get it up in there, and just hoping and praying everything lines up pretty good. All right, everybody, we're gonna make sure I'm recording this side. I'm gonna get the driver's side inner fender put in. Passenger side's in. Looks really good. It turned out really good. I got the battery box in, battery mounted down. I'm gonna clean my overflow reservoir up, get it bolted back in. It bolts to the side of the battery box. I've got the factory clamp. I'm gonna try to clean it up, paint it, and the factory clamp for the heater hoses. Get it put on there, but I want to get this one put in first. At least get all the bolts started. I don't know if I'll have time to finish it completely tonight, but so I'm gonna get the camera set up here and get with it. See if I can give y'all any pointers, tips. The truck, where it's got the lift on it, and the small tires currently, I have plenty of room to put these in. Passenger side just kind of pretty well fell in place. The other ones I've done in the past, I didn't care neither if they got scratched. So it's been kind of a pain, making sure I don't scratch these. So what I'm doing is getting the front angled up in there first. Get it up, kind of around, clear the brake line. It's going to be a pain in the rear. Kinda. I'm going to bow it in just a little bit. And voila. Man, I don't think this side's going to fit as good as the other side. The other side fit great. And guess what? I didn't get it over the brake line. It's causing me grief right now. Causing me grief. So I'm going to ease it back out. Try to angle it up enough to get it up over top of it. Okay, got it up over it. I'm going to bow this back in just a little bit again. And this side, I don't even know if this side's going to fit. Ease it back down a little bit. I've got the dang shock bolt sticking out in the way. Y'all probably seen that. I didn't. Let me get it out real quick. Gotta get my ladder. That sucks about having a lifted vehicle. Shock bolt out of the way. Oh, yeah, I lost that nut. So I've angled the front end first, kind of finagled it in there. Now it just needs to go home. And there it is. And like I said on the other side, there's 7 bolts around the wheel well. They're 5/16 bolts. They've got a 1/2 inch head on them. I'm going to get me a couple started. loosely right here just to kind of hold it up. Man, those about look too good. I may cry the first rock chip it hits them. And oh my God, you know what, people? I think I left the 3 bolts that goes up through the core support threaded in there. No, I've took them out at some point. Whenever I painted though, I put those in. Keep paint from getting in the threads and stuff. I run a lot of the bolts back in, plus it helped I'd clean the heads up on the bolts. So it helped, they were already painted then whenever I got done. I'm debating on whether or not to use the factory rubber splash aprons. I've still got them. They're in pretty good shape, but they've been sitting in the barn where I've let them set. They've kind of curled up here and there, but I don't know. We may get them out, clean them up, see how they look like they're going to do, and kind of go from there. I looked at some new ones. I don't mind buying new ones, but $50 for 2 pieces of rubber, kind of high. Kind of high. And the factory ones are still in pretty good shape. You know, most of them's dry rotted and ripped, cracked. Like I said, when I started building this truck, I wasn't filming anything. I didn't film nothing. Had never even planned on YouTube. You know, I don't even know why I started a YouTube channel, really. I guess so my kids can look back and see where their inheritance went. You know, wasted on a truck. But I'm kind of enjoying it. Actually, I've got more done on the truck by filming than I ever had, you know. And I don't know why. I know a lot of it too. It's close to being finished. So I've really gotten excited about it here especially the last couple months. Even before I started filming, I've only been filming, I think, about 6-7 weeks. I think I put my first video on there. Actually, I've got a few older videos. Started the channel like in 2015, and it's of the old 50 model GMC, and there's some of the 55 GMC first series that my dad had here. It was a hydromatic, so it was a factory automatic truck. Man, I worked on that thing, getting it running and driving. The motor had all been rebuilt. Somebody had rebuilt the hydromatic transmission in it. And I did not know those transmissions have 2 pickup tubes. So I'd pull the pan off, the truck wouldn't pull. First, second gear, nothing. Well, they've got 2 pickup tubes. They've got 2 pumps. One pump runs off the motor, and that's the tube that was missing. So first, second gear run off of that pump. Third and fourth run off the drive shaft. So when the truck gets to running, pretty much the motor's not even pulling the transmission once it gets to rolling. And they are a 4-speed automatic. Reverse is park. I mean, it's a cool setup. It's got a reverse safety switch. You can't start it when it's in park, and you shut the truck off. The pin drops when the pump quits turning and locks it in park gear. Just a really neat setup. But I had that transmission out 2 or 3 times, and finally an old guy asked me, said, "You missing a pickup tube? Or got the pickup tube on there?" And I said, "Yeah, it's on there." And he said, "Both of them?" And I had no idea that there was 2 pickup tubes, a pump on the front and a pump on the back on. But there's a little short. I think YouTube turned it into a short. It's kind of upside down of that truck running. And we'll get more into it later. We're going to get the 50 model out here, hopefully before it gets too cold. This is pretty much the last pieces to paint of this truck other than my vent window frames. I'm going to mix up some more of this single stage and spray them. You know, I thought about using Rust-Oleum or something, but doesn't have a catalyst in it, you know, so over time it's going to it won't hold up as good as what this single stage urethane will. So, but I'm gonna get my ratchet. I won't bore you with that. Get all these tightened up. I've got the 2 bolts in the back. They're the 3/8 bolts like on the other side. They're 9/16 head 3/8 bolt. I'm gonna have to get them, clean them up. I didn't buy new ones for those 2. Like the other side, I just wire brushed them and I shot just Rust-Oleum on them. But you know, for something like that, they'll be fine. I expect rock chips in here with the tars I'm gonna end up running, and I've got a long gravel driveway, so I'm expecting rock chips. I've been looking, and if anybody's ever used any, let me know. I've been trying to look, maybe something like clear bra, you know, some kind of clear vinyl wrap to put on the bottom of it to keep it from rock chipping as bad. You know, my rocker panels, bottoms of the fenders, bed. And I've been debating on putting the Silverado trim on it. I kind of wanted to, but the wife thinks it's going to look pretty good without it. So we'll see. We'll see how it's going to, how it all runs together. This winter, I'm going to end up doing, I am going to do the wheel well molding. And this truck didn't come with it, but I'm going to put it on it. So I'll have a little video of that coming out this winter. It'll be a few things I get to do when it's too cold to do anything else outside. I originally wasn't even going to put these in right now. But I just work in the garage on the house, 24 by 24. So when you get bigger pieces like this sitting around, they kind of get in the way. I mean, it was a mess in here when I had the truck. This truck's been completely blown apart down to the frame. Cab was off of it. I mean, it was just, I had parts everywhere. I had parts trucks everywhere. I wish I'd have kept a couple of them. But I'm gonna do a full video on the whole truck from the day I got it to everything I've done to it, and kind of give you a price breakdown. A lot of people shocked when they find out how much I've got in the truck. As the way it sits right now, I've got about $3,600 in it, I believe, somewhere right in there. So I'm planning. Originally, I was hoping around 5,000, and that's counting. I've got a set of bullet hole brand new bullet hole wheels, Pro Comp 16 by 10s. It's been sitting there for a while, but yeah, I'll go over it and do kind of a price breakdown. I got the truck really cheap. I give $200 for it. Drove it home, and like I said, I have known the truck since the truck had 30,000 miles on it back in the early 90s. And I know people's going to say, no, it's got 160. It's only got 64,000 miles on it. The motor still runs great. The transmission, I've not driven enough to really know, but I'm not going to do anything with it until I know for sure, you know. So I will say the last 30,000 miles of its life, I mean, I think I've mentioned this in another video, is rough 30,000 miles. Pretty much it never left the farm. They had a 24 or 30-foot gooseneck. They hauled 6 by 6 rolls of hay, double stacked, and we'd come out of the field with this thing on the floor with that gooseneck loaded with hay. So pretty much they used it to haul hay out of the field back up to the barn. So the last 30,000 miles of its life from around 2000, for the last 20 years, you know, it wasn't treated the best. But the frame had no cracks in it, none whatsoever. You know, I've mistreated a lot of them back in the day, a lot worse than what this had. You know, broke frames, broke the steering boxes off, cracked the frame under the cab, tire rear ends out, transmission, bust front ends, you know, breaking axles every weekend, blowing a motor up every weekend. It wasn't treated like that, but it was used, and it was used hard and put up wet. So I bought all new bolts for the inner fenders, the 5/16 bolt, except for the 2 3/8 bolts it goes through into the cab from the back. I just cleaned them up, shot a little bit of paint on them. I really wish I'd have been filming when this, I wish I'd have hit the record button putting this one in. This inner fender went in really good. They're AMD fenders, and So far, I'm really impressed. I mean, every bolt hole on it lined up. I mean, perfect. I did, like I said before, I took a step bit and kind of knocked. I didn't do all of them. I just opened a few of them. It looked smaller, kind of opened them up. But so far, I'm really impressed. I mean, it's fit great. Uh, there's 7 bolts in the wheel well. They're 1/2 inch. They're 5/16 bolts, 1/2 inch head. 7 of them here. You got 2 9/16 3/8 bolts with a take a 9/16 socket, and then under the bottom into the core support, there's 3 more 1/2 inch, the 5/16 bolts. 1/2 inch socket fits them, and then I think there's 4 that holds the battery box on. 2 of them go into the fender. 2 of them come back up through into here. Somehow I'll have to remember when I set it in here. But they're just the 1/2 inch, the 5/16 bolts, 1/2 inch head. So you know, they're pretty simple. This one is actually really easy to go back in, but I've had them on the 2-wheel drives. You know, you got the control arms and all right here. I've had them really be a pain before getting them in, and I was really worried about these. I only got 1 scratch on it. I'll show you here in a minute when I get back up top. But I've done got them in, got all the bolts started. I'm leaving them loose for now. I was waiting for these to dry. I'm going to put these last 2 in, tighten them all up, and then the battery box should be about dry. We'll get it put in. Well, guys, I'm like tickled. I'm as happy as a puppy with 2 peckers. Got the battery box in, got the battery back in. Using the factory hold down. That's one of the best ways to hold a battery in. I mean, that was a pretty good design that they used. Getting the battery box in, I didn't film none of it. There's 4 bolts. There's 1 going into the fender here, 1 going into the fender. Yeah, I had some light. 1 going into the fender in the front and the back on the battery box. There's 4 bolts total. See if I can get a. I'm not a drug dealer. I have to carry a work phone. That's why I've got 2 phones. Bolt there and a bolt there. And then there's 2 into the inner fender. You've got 1 here and 1 here through the inner fender. It's down by the 3 that go into the core support. But yeah, I mean, I'm tickled with the way it's coming together. I can, you know, I forgot I can get my overflow tank mounted in here, get it cleaned up. Man, I really want to get in there and clean my core support because I had this thing shining like a goat's hind end. I mean, it looked good at one point, but you know, it's been, I painted it, one of the first things it in my firewall years ago. So here they are. Here they are installed in the truck. They look pretty good. They look too good. I know the lighting's not very good in here, so you're not going to be able to see a lot of it, but hopefully this helps somebody out. And, you know, I want to thank everybody for watching, and don't forget, go check out our Facebook. I don't really have much, I don't think, on it. Classic Truck Garage. We got a Instagram and a TikTok. So check those out. You know, get on Facebook, leave me a picture of what you're working on. I'd like to see some of y'all's rides. You know, if you're working on something. Like I said, it's been a 5-year build of mine. Like it's been a long time coming. And I'll be tickled just to drive it down to the gas station and fill it up with gas. I'm sure it'll be about empty time I get back, a couple miles, but can't wait to drive it. But again, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, like and comment and subscribe, and check out our other platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and leave me some pictures of what you're working on.